All right, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a huge pleasure and a privilege to be with you this afternoon. And let me begin by appreciating you all for agreeing to join with me this hour on the live Facebook live broadcast. And well, YouTube also live broadcast with Born to Lead organization. Now, for those of you who are coming online for the very first time, I will repeat by saying, and I'm saying I will repeat because I've always said that Born to Lead is an organization that was given birth to help train every one of us understand our role as leaders and to acclimatize us with the concept of leadership. Now, I constantly say this and I mean it from my heart because I've interacted with a lot of people. And my understanding is to the fact that not many of us know what leadership is. Not many of us have a full grasp of what the concept of leadership is. And therefore, we continue to struggle on a day-to-day basis, sometimes accusing people that we ought not to be accusing when things go wrong or things are not going out the way that we've always expected that they should go out. So Born to Lead is here to fill in that gap and to help us understand very well what it means to be a leader. All right, so that's what we do at Born to Lead. And for months now, we've gone on giving free live broadcast to everyone who would want to be a part and parcel of this, or to everyone who would want to gain an understanding concerning the concept of leadership. So thank you for joining me right now. And as I usually encourage, I advise that if you're online and you hear certain things that you are not clear about, do not have full understanding, please just post in a comment. Whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, just type in your comments and raise questions, challenge concepts that we raise at Born to Lead. You are free to challenge concepts that we raise because, again, we at Born to Lead do not claim to have all the knowledge concerning leadership, right? We're only building upon certain concepts, all right? And we're hoping that if we rub minds with you on this platform, we'll get to have better understanding and clearer understanding with one another. Now, at the background, you'd hear some playing. I'm playing this in honor of the Praise Family Band of Ekwawuse 2, where I worship every Sunday. And they've been playing so well, and I thought to give them some recognition or at least just allow others enjoy the bit of music that I usually enjoy weekdays, Sundays, and so on and so forth. So thank you, Praise Family Band, for this piece, and thank you for joining me even at this time wherever you are. Now today, all right, I would like us to talk about productivity. I'd like us to talk about productivity today. How do you increase or improve your productivity? Okay, how do you elevate your productivity from one level to the other? By the way, what is productivity? Okay, I think that we basically need to even understand what productivity means, and then try to enhance how we can improve our productivity as people. Okay, I would rather be dealing with individuals. Okay, and when I say individuals, even though for those of us we know, Born to Lead also trains organizations. Okay, we've been invited by a few organizations to come train staff and personnel as to understanding the concept of leadership, as to understanding what productivity means, as to understanding how to grow on a daily basis. Now, but when we deal with these organizations, what we try to do is to train the individuals that make up the organization. Okay? The organization has no life of its own. It's individuals that come together to give the organization the kind of life that it deserves, the kind of life that it sees, and the kind of life that operates in that environment. Now, having said that, all right, today we're going to be looking at how to improve our productivity. How do I move from one level to the other? How do I grow, okay, from the mediocre level to the path of excellence? And by the way, in 2021, what I'm aiming to do, what I'm aiming to pursue is to improve on my excellence. And to do that, I'm going to pursue perfection. And like John Warden will say, that we should pursue perfection. Let us know from the onset that we may not attain perfection, but in doing that, we may attain excellence. Okay? We may attain excellence. That's what I'm pursuing in 2021. And I wonder what your goals are for 2021. Okay? I'm going to pursue excellence with all that I have, beginning by pursuing perfection. Okay? I'm going to pursue perfection to the point to, well, nearly my breaking point, as it were. But I'm sure that even if I do not lay hold of perfection, I will lay hold of excellence. I'm going to plant more trees around me. Okay? That's the aim. That's pursuing coolness around my environment. Okay? I'm going to ensure that people focus on what they should be focusing part time. I have a daughter who will be writing her final school exams this year, secondary school exams this year. All right. I've been putting her under intense heat, as it were. Let me not use the word pressure, but intense heat to pursue perfection. Okay. And the truth is, if there are other candidates that attain 100% in these exams, why not Sharon? Okay? If there are other students who so focus on studying and concentrate on passing this exam to the point of perfection, why not my daughter? So that's the level at which I'm operating this year. And I'm hoping to do all things possible to be able to attain that and to get that goal achieved within this year. Okay? So that's the target for the year. And this is why I'm going to encourage you to take seriously every inch of this lesson, to put to your heart every point that will be raised at this lesson, so that you can attain perfection even this year. So, how do you improve productivity? Now, before we go on, all right, I'd like to make an announcement, okay, to say that, like I've announced several times in the last 2 months of 2020, on the 1st of February 2021, the very first day of February, and graciously it is a Monday, 2021, we're going to begin what we call the BTL Leadership Academy. BTL Leadership Academy. We're beginning online, and the idea is to go through a week of intense leadership training and challenge, okay? So that you and I can greatly and vastly improve our leadership capabilities, our leadership abilities, our leadership strength. We're trying to impress upon our hearts the concept of leadership, knowing that everything rises and falls with leadership. Everything. Okay? Everything rises and falls with leadership. That's what John Maxwell says, and I agree with him vastly. Now, to be able to do that, we're pursuing this leadership academy, and we're hoping that you will enroll. Now, there is a link at the top of this page by which every one of us can get linked to register for BTL Leadership Academy. The fee for that training is 10,000 naira, and it's inconsequential. It is insignificant in comparison to all that you shall be learning in this time. All right? I can say that with all certainty that this funds, 10,000, is inconsequential as far as that leadership training is concerned. Now, we're going online because we're not yet sure about the status of coronavirus as far as we're concerned, and we want to play it safe by observing social distancing and by staying away from each other for some time. I know we do interact, all right, and we observe certain regulations, but we want to begin online so we can further observe that regulation, the COVID regulations, and then eventually we'll open up and begin to take physical classes. We have a center already set for this, but we're going online at the onset or at the start. And topics will include understanding leadership, improving your productivity. So what we're going to be doing today is just a surface discussion of what we will be taking in the class. All right, because we'll be doing some in-depth study on how to improve our productivity. Okay, we're going to look at the philosophies of leadership. Okay, some of us do not know why we live the way that we live, and I can tell you it's based on the kind of philosophy of leadership that you have attached yourself to. Because you see, anyway, every one of us is influenced and impacted by leadership. Just any way you look at it, every one of us is impacted and influenced by leadership. So we must learn to adopt and to stick to one definition of leadership, as it were. All right. So that's what we will be doing at Born to Lead. I will do encourage you to be a part and parcel of what Born to Lead will be doing in this season. Now let's go to today's topic. What is productivity? What is productivity? If I ask you what you understand as the term productivity. Now I searched the Cambridge Academic Content Dictionary, and this is what it says. It says productivity is the rate at which a person, company, or country does useful work. There are certain things or words that are underlined here, and I would like you to take note of those words. One, rate, the quantum, the size, the volume at which any person, company, or country does useful work. That's key, that's fundamental in defining productivity. Again, productivity can either be noticed in an individual, or a company, or a country. And most importantly, productivity has to do with the usefulness of work. Okay? So the quantum of usefulness is what we're going to be looking at. The size of usefulness is what we're going to be looking at. I've always mentioned this or tried to use this as an example. Well, until my surprise fades, I'll continue to use it as an example. Now, The nation of Israel is such a small-sized nation by landmass because in 5 hours, you can drive from one end to the other end. In 5 hours, if you're a Nigerian, that means you've driven from Lagos to probably Ore or something like that. If you're on your way to Abuja, it takes about 8-9 hours, all right, and probably 10 to drive from Lagos to Abuja. It takes a full day to drive from Lagos to Maiduguri, a full day. Now, so figure out that in your mind and check out the size of Israel. It has a population of only about 8 million people, which is to say, Kano State or Lagos State has 3 times the population of the nation of Israel. Yet, Israel is surrounded by over 200 million enemies who want to extinguish it at any point in time. And this is how many years now that has not happened. Why? Because those 8 million people are able to protect themselves. And in recent times, they are even binding friendship with those people that otherwise should have been their enemies. All right? Now, you can imagine also that you have these 8 million people who are experts in agriculture. And by the way, just to emphasize how vast Israel is in agriculture, they are probably the world's greatest agricultural nation at the moment. And you may not know this, but Israel rarely has rain. Rain falls only one day or just a few hours in an entire year. Yet they've been able to harness the water and use it vastly for agriculture. And of course, you know what that means. That simply means that Israel is useful to itself. The land is useful to Israel. Israel has been able to have a high productivity rate as far as agriculture is concerned, as far as military defense is concerned. Now, go around the globe. Find nations with 200 million people who are unable to defend themselves from ordinary bandits. Find nations with 150 million people who have a vast land around them and are unable to provide food for themselves. What a shame. Now, you will not blame them because perhaps nobody has ever challenged them for their or to take seriously their level of productivity high. Now, this is what we will be looking at today, and in a short time, I'll round up because I said I'll just be brushing on the surface of the things that we should be discussing or we will be discussing in Born to Lead Leadership Academy if you are a candidate registered for that process. Okay, thank you, Jafia Jasini Musa from Maiduguri. Thank you for watching live and thank you for being online with me at this moment. It's an honor and a privilege to have you. If you're watching from any part of the world, just please let me know and let's enjoy friendship together on the platform as we proceed, please. All right. Thank you, Jafia, for this show of love and interest. Now, Tim Ferriss says this. Tim Ferriss, by the way, is an American podcaster, an author, and an entrepreneur. And he says, focus on being productive instead of busy. Now, this quotation defines productivity in two senses, well, it just gives a clear definition of what productivity is. You can be very busy and yet less productive. I take it again. You can be very busy and yet less productive. Productivity is not about busyness. Okay? You can be busy doing someone else's bidding and yet not being productive. The man who runs a marathon and wins a prize for it is productive, as against one who walks all the way from, or who runs just aimlessly. Okay? A man who wakes up very early in the morning, a lady who wakes up very early in the morning to jog for the sake of exercise is highly productive as far as our health is concerned, as against children just running up and down and making noise around the compound. So Tim Ferriss says, focus on being productive instead of being busy. Because there's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. How do you become more productive as against being busy? How do you become productive Oh, well, sorry for that bit of break. I just seem to have had some bit of challenge with the internet, but I'm back now, and thank you for your patience with me at this hour. Now, so as I was saying, I'll list out a number of things that we can use to become very productive as against being very busy. Okay, and but today we'll discuss only a few of those, and then if you're able to register for the class, if you're able to be a part and parcel of this training session, you would see the other issues as to how you can be very productive as against being very busy. And my aim, like I said this year, is for perfection. Okay? And I want everyone who encounters these trainings to be very, very perfect at whatever he or she does. Now, to become productive, one, you need to be very organized. You need to get organized. Number two, you must avoid multitasking. I know that a lot of women boast about being able to multitask, but research has shown that If you multitask, you actually divide your attention, okay, at too many things. So you never get to pay serious attention at doing particular things. All right, you are scattered, you are spread thin, okay, abroad. And as it were, you need to focus on particular things that you do. Now, you must minimize distractions. You must organize your workspace. To be able to be productive, you must track time and have an understanding of how you use time. Again, as part of this course, we're going to take time out to teach us how to maximize time. You cannot manage time because time keeps going. Time waits for no one, like we always say. So you cannot manage it. You cannot conserve it. You cannot preserve some time for yourself, but you can maximize the time as it goes by. Okay? That's a huge difference. We're going to be talking about time maximization during the course. Again, you must learn to embrace technology. Technology has made certain things simple and easy for us. You must choose friends wisely because bad company corrupts good manners. Okay? You must learn to say no and no to certain things. You cannot accept all that people want you to accept to do because you cannot do all things. Okay? A failure is someone who attempts to please everybody. That's who a failure is. And of course, finally, we would like to teach on the Pareto principle and to get you to understand how to maximize the Pareto principle such that on a daily basis, you increase your productivity. On a daily basis, you achieve your games already, your goals for the day, you achieve your aims for the day, and you look back 365 days after and say, wow, I have succeeded in achieving 365 goals within the year. That's our target for the year. So, like I said, I'll just talk about a few of these principles and then we will be done for today. Let me say this. Number one is that you need to get organized. You need to get organized. And what do we mean when I say you need to get organized? I simply mean that you cannot run each day just running from pillar to post and not knowing what you want to achieve or attain within that day. And there are people who do that. They go to sleep not knowing what tomorrow holds or what they intend to achieve tomorrow. They wake up in the morning not knowing what the day should hold for them or what they intend to achieve within the day. So they lack organization. And every true leader is an organized person. Okay? On Sunday, which is my usual day for planning for the week, I sat down to do my planning. One thing that was constant or regular is the fact that on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., I will do a live broadcast. That is already on my calendar. The topic for today was chosen by Monday. So by Monday, I had planned for today's training. By Tuesday, I had done a research or some research to improve on what I already know concerning productivity. And by Wednesday morning, I had studied some more and done all that I needed to do. And 1 or 2 hours before this broadcast, I was simply relaxed. Why? Because I had planned and organized the week. All right? And Jim Rohn says, do not begin a day until you have finished. Do not begin a week until you have finished. Do not begin a month and a year until you are done. And what does this mean? It simply means that you get organized to plan a to-do list, an actionable to-do list. For me, Sunday evenings are the best time to plan the week. And I plan through the week. Okay? I do not plan every second, every minute. No, I simply plan the major goals that I intend to achieve within the days. Goals that once they are achieved and attained, I can be satisfied that I have attained and achieved a goal for the day. So you must get organized. An anonymous writer says this: for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. In other words, if you use 10 minutes to plan, then 10 hours has been earned. 10 hours have been preserved. 10 hours have been achieved and attained. All right? That's what it means. And it is interesting to note that for every minute spent in organizing and planning, you save an hour. So for you to achieve your goals, for you to be very productive on a day-to-day basis, you have got to be very good at organizing your day. And excuse me, don't organize the day in the middle of the day. Organize the day a day before the day. Ensure that before you sleep, you have written down the things that you would like to achieve the following day, so that when you sleep peacefully and quietly. And when you wake up confidently, knowing that you've outlined the tasks and responsibilities that you have for the day. Now, two assignments for you if you are listening to me. Number one is that after this broadcast, take between 5 to 10 minutes out to plan the next 2 hours ahead of you. Now, I'm doing this because I know that perhaps you've never organized before, you've never planned your day before, you've never written down before, okay? Just take the next 2 hours or the next 5 to 10 minutes after this broadcast to write out a plan for the next 2-3 hours ahead of you. And when you do that, stick to those plans for the next 2-3 hours. It will amaze you how much you can achieve within that period. In fact, I can tell you this ahead, that in 5 minutes you can plan up till the next day. In 10 minutes, you can plan your entire week. But of course, being a starter, if you've never planned before, the tendency is for you to get a bit challenged at the onset. But I tell you, if you sit down 5 to 10 minutes to write out the next 2 hours what you intend to achieve, you'll be amazed at what that does for you. The second assignment is that later in the evening today, take out time, maybe 15 minutes, to plan your next day, to plan tomorrow. And don't muddle up, don't clutter your list, don't fill them up with too many things. Just choose the major goals you want to achieve, write them down, and pursue them the next day. This is what it means to be organized. All right? So to be very productive, you need to be very organized. The second task is that you must minimize distractions. On the picture to your right, or to my right rather, you see a mom catering for 2 children, attending to her phone at the same time, and of course, the younger kid doing some other things that, well, an assignment that probably he or she has not been given to do. A lot of us get distracted daily. We're so distracted that social media takes 3 hours of our day. And by the way, if you think that you have 24 hours, you are deceiving yourself, because in reality, all that we have within the day to work is narrowed down to about 8 hours. And within the 8 hours, I can tell you, haven't studied for some time, that you do not work more than 2 hours a day. You do not. Because you are either attending to your phone, attending to a social media network, attending to the news, attending to food, attending to children if you are married and have children, attending to other people's problems, and so on and so forth. You never really have time for yourself, to work for yourself, to do anything productive. So you don't have 24 hours. Each one of us, except if you are sick, and if you are sick, I pray that you get well. But except if you are sick, you spend at least 6 hours in sleeping. While those 6 hours are good for refreshing yourself, all right, but there are times those hours are not times of production. And I'm sure you are aware of that. Now, in reality, you and I have less than 6 hours daily to truly work. And within those 6 hours, a number of us spend time on social media. Some others spend time watching TV. Some others spend time attending to other people's problems, things that we ought not to be doing. And Winston Churchill says, you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. How true can this be? And what a huge challenge. If you're on a journey, on a trip, and you stand attending to every dog on the way, you know that you will never reach your destination. Imagine you are on a marathon, and along the road, you had people hailing you, and every time they hailed you, you stopped to respond to them. You know that you will not travel far. You know that you will not win that marathon. Or on the way, you have people insulting you and saying all sorts of things about how you are not running so well. And you take time to attend to them because they are insulting you. You know you will definitely not win that marathon. Avoid distractions. What are the things that distract you? In the last 4 or 5 years now, my phone has been on silence. And I mean that. In fact, I've gotten to the point where ringtones are an irritation to my soul. Ringtones. Because many years ago, I understood that phone calls were a distraction to me. And I decided to avoid the phone calls. And how do I avoid the phone calls? By putting my phone on silent. In the middle of work, I do not get distracted by phone calls. If I see a call and it's not a call I should attend to immediately, I avoid it. In the course of this broadcast, I've had several calls. I've had to send text messages while doing this to say, I'm on a live broadcast, just send messages to me and I'll respond. Okay? All right? So that's how distracting phone calls have been to me, but I've been able to check them out by putting my phone on silent. And I have particular hours that I concentrate on social media. And by the way, that's about the last hour of the day before I sleep. Now, here are 2 tasks for you to do. I know it will be difficult, but I challenge you to do it. Within the next hour, can you place your phone on silence? I know I can hear all your excuses. I know I can hear them. You're telling me why it's difficult to put your phone on silence. You are saying why you are expecting certain calls and so on and so forth. Put them on vibration, but ensure they are on silence. That way, okay? That way you will not be distracted in the middle of certain jobs. That's an assignment. The second assignment is to avoid 1 or 2 hours looking at any social media until you have finished a task that is ahead of you. Try it. All right. I laugh because I'm already hearing the excuses in me as to why this will be difficult. But I challenge you, avoid the emails. You know, when someone noticed my phone was on silence, he wondered, he said, how do I attend to emergencies? And I asked him, how do we attend to emergencies? How did we attend to emergencies before we had mobile phones? And I ask you that question now. How did we attend to emergencies before social media came up? Find out. And you discover that there are truly no emergencies. If it's an accident somewhere, it has happened already. Your attention can only be needed to go and attend to the person in a hospital, because wherever the accident is happening, there are certain people attending to that accident. Now, this sounds a bit callous, but it's the reality of life. It's the reality of life. All right? So place your phone on silence. In the next 1-2 hours, just attempt it and see what will happen. And then in the next 2 hours, avoid looking at any social media, especially if you have a job before you right now. Just focus on the job, avoid social media for the next 2 hours, and see what great advantage that will be to you. Now, the next is to set smart goals and to work smarter. Set smart goals and work smarter. What do I mean by that? What I simply mean is that as you're writing out your daily schedule, ensure that your daily schedule agree with your goals for life, agrees with your goal for the month, it agrees with your goal for the week, it agrees with your goal for the year. All right? To set smart goals, you must set goals that are specific, goals that are measurable, goals that are attainable. Don't set things beyond your ability to attain. Then you must set goals that are relevant, and you must set goals that are time-based. Your goals must be measurable and they must be time-based. Set a target as to the time of start and the time of finish. Okay? Set a target for yourself as to when to start and when to finish. Don't set goals that are not attainable and then eventually you flop and you grumble and complain that certain things have happened. No, don't do that. Now, Jim Rohn says, it is not the time you put in, but what you put in the time that matters. I take it again. It is not the time that you put in, but what you put in the time that matters. The people who work the hardest are bricklayers, and yet they get about the poorest pay. Why? That's not smart work. That's hard work. All right? Smart work does not necessarily become hard work. Even though to be able to achieve certain things in life, you need to work hard. But when you work hard, let it be hard in the hours and not on you as a person. Okay? As you work hard, let it be because you are digging deep, not because you are sweating hard. And I'll leave you with a task. I know you've been doing certain assignments, but quickly do a quick check on yourself right now. What can you do smarter rather than harder? List out the things that you can do smarter rather than harder. Now, if you do this, I am certain that you'll be more productive to yourself and to your family around and friends rather than being tired. Get smart goals, work smarter. I'll draw the curtain at this point, except to remind you, all right? Except to remind you that on the 1st of February 2021, and we're just around the corner, Born to Lead will start the BTL Leadership Academy. And as part of the topics that we will be handling, will include improving your productivity. They will include understanding leadership. They will include knowing the philosophies of leadership. All right? They will include helping you to set goals. They will include helping you to understand your life purpose. Now, if you're interested in registering for that academy, please check out the link on this broadcast. Register through the link and you will be registered. Know that there is a fee of 10,000 naira and we'll be going online at the start and eventually we'll have physical classes. Thank you so much for your time and for the hours, for the nearly an hour spent with me. I appreciate you today and I pray that you have a safe and blessed week ahead of you. I've come to the end of today's broadcast and haven't come to the end. Let me say a big bye-bye to every one of you and a big thank you for the persons who wrote in comment, Jeffia all the way from Maiduguri, Betty Laya from Kaduna, and a number of you who watch from other places around the globe. Thank you so much and do have a productive week ahead of you. My name is Shedrack Bako. Bye-bye.